here's how to shut it down if someone tries gossiping with you.
Oh, I actually don't gossip.
Is gossip actually a good thing?
Whenever somebody mentions anything about gossiping, I think about this one article where one of the reasons why there are no serial killers in the Philippines is because of chismosa culture. There's no study to back up this claim. I just think it's funny. So whenever I gossip, I just think back to this article and know that I'm being a responsible citizen. Obviously, that video that I stitched was satire, but on a serious note, gossiping is literally just oral history and establishing social expectations within your friends and your community.
So this TikTok by Ube Oatmilk points out this theory that gossip is actually something that's incredibly beneficial to society because it, in a sense, is an oral history of the community. But is there truth to that? Now, this is actually really interesting because the reality is that the whole notion of gossip in the first place in Western cultures was literally invented in order to try and tear apart networks of women, specifically social networks that people had created that were really designed in such a way to help with parenting, to help with keeping a household and a community together, and basically it was a network of support that women used to keep themselves safe and to make sure that people within their communities were taken care of. And the sort of war on gossip from misogynistic society was really driven by a pressure to push women out of social leadership roles, which was all part of a larger effort of like ushering in industrial capitalism and forcing women into purely homemaking roles and out of things like midwifery and other scientific and medical fields, as well as other leadership roles and positions within society. They created this myth, this idea of women gossiping with each other and telling horrible lies about everybody in society, sort of tearing down the men around them. But the reality is that fundamentally this mythology is deeply misogynistic, and it's rooted in this idea that women are like malicious creatures that are trying to like undermine men and can't be trusted when they're talking to each other. And that's really where the origin of the term gossip comes from. Now, I want to be clear that this is different than just spreading rumors. There's a huge difference between just spreading rumors and talking with people in your community about the business of other people in your community, because the value that comes from having a network of support in the community where people are talking a little bit about what other people are up to can play a significant role in sort of making sure that everyone is safe. Right? If you're talking about what's going on in somebody's relationship next door, if you're talking about what's going on with your friends that you know, then you can start to get a sense of like, who are the people that are safe in the community? Who are the people that are not safe in the community? How do you need to interact with different people in a way that is very different than just publicly going out and saying all of these things? And so gossip can actually have a very beneficial component to society because it allows people to communicate with each other in such a way that can help keep communities safe. And this is actually something that sex workers inside of the United States have really talked a lot about when they talk about unsafe date lists. And that is actually something that a lot of legislation has been passed to make it very difficult for sex workers to share unsafe date lists, which is something that actively puts them in much greater danger. Additionally, if you actually look at the way that crimes are solved, you start to realize that information coming from the community and the rumor mill very often does tend to be playing a leading role in actually investigating and discovering like who's committing different crimes. And that's why if you pay attention at all to like the stories of like how serial murderers eventually get caught, it's because people in the community often rally together to really bully police departments into doing their job. And there's countless instances of this throughout history inside the United States where communities have to organize themselves and really demand that people be held accountable for their action. And that fundamentally is rooted in this whole idea of gossip. And so well, no, we shouldn't be baselessly spreading rumors about each other. It does speak to a value that should exist in society of us communicating with each other about what is going on in our communities in a healthy way that is not fear-mongering, but is a person-to-person connection within the community where we fundamentally are just talking about the lives of the people around us and where we have awareness of the lives of people around us. Because it is quite literally something in society that just does keep people safe, and it also helps build community. So while there are definitely unhealthy ways for like rumors to spread and for gossip to potentially be harmful, creating this idea that gossip is universally evil or bad actually has its historical origins in incredible misogyny and was fundamentally meant to undermine the ability of women to keep themselves safe from men in their lives. And so when we take it into context, we need to recognize that maybe gossip isn't as bad as many say it is.